Title: The House Nobody Wanted. And the billion-dollar secret it hid. What would you do if the last $900 in your name was all that stood between your family and total ruin? That was the question haunting Angela Reed, a 34-year-old former nurse, as she stared at her bank app in the dim light of her apartment's kitchen. The rural hospital where she had worked for almost a decade had shut down without warning. Now, Angela was piecing together two part-time jobs: early morning shifts at a diner and evening cashier hours at a convenience store, barely scraping together enough to feed herself and her 12-year-old son, Jordan. Jordan wasn't just any kid. He had severe asthma, the kind that demanded expensive medication and near-sterile living conditions. Angela had already sold her car, slashed every expense, and had nothing left to cut. And then came the eviction notice. Their landlord was selling the building, and they had 30 days to get out. Rent in the area had doubled in the last year. Angela searched and searched, but found nothing she could afford. Their emergency fund, a fragile $900 saved over a year of skipped lunches and unpaid weekends, was all she had left. That's when she remembered what her grandmother used to say. Sometimes, when the world pushes you to the edge, the only thing left to do is jump and trust you can fly. One night, after yet another fruitless housing search, Angela stumbled upon a county auction listing for tax-delinquent properties. It was a long shot. Most homes started at tens of thousands of dollars. But there it was, a two-story white farmhouse on 3 acres of overgrown land, starting bid $750. The listing said, significant structural issues. Vacant 15-plus years. Sold as is. The place looked haunted: broken windows, peeling paint, a porch that looked like it would collapse under a feather. But it was land. It was theirs, potentially. No rent. No landlords. Just theirs. Her best friend Danny called her crazy. "There's a reason it's that cheap, Ange," she warned. "That house probably has black mold, cracked pipes, asbestos, demons. Take your pick." "What about Jordan's asthma?" "I don't know," Angela said. "But I know this. In 29 days, we'll be on the street." The morning of the auction, Angela wore her best outfit, an old interview blazer and scuffed shoes. She kissed Jordan on the head and whispered, "Wish me luck, baby." "For what?" "I'll tell you if it works." The courthouse was intimidating. Developers in suits and flippers with glossy portfolios filled the room. Angela sat in the back, clutching the envelope with $900 in cash like it was her lifeline. When the listing came up, no one raised a hand at $750. After a moment, Angela did. "$750, she said softly. A man near the front, clearly bored, raised his hand. "$800, he muttered. "$850, Angela said quickly. "$900. The man replied, still not looking up from his phone. Angela's chest tightened. That was all she had. She hesitated, then raised her hand again. "$900, she repeated. The auctioneer looked confused. "Ma'am, the current bid is $900. I need $950 or more." "I can't," she said. "I only have $900. I'm matching his bid." The room quieted. The man finally looked up, glanced at Angela, and shrugged. "Too much work for that dump. I'm out." Going once, going twice, sold. To the lady in the back for $900. Angela sat frozen in her chair. She had just bought a house. The clerk handed her a manila folder, a crumpled receipt, and one heavy, old key. "That's the Winters place," the clerk said with a strange look. Angela blinked. "I'm sorry. That house used to belong to Josephine Winters. Bit of a story, that one." "What kind of story?" The clerk hesitated. "Old wives' tales, mostly. Strange disappearance. Nothing you need to worry about." Angela picked Jordan up from school early. He hopped into the car with wide eyes. "Mom? What's going on?" "We have a house," she said, stunned at her own words. He stared at her. "A house. Like a real one. Like a real one." They drove an hour into the countryside. The driveway was half-eaten by weeds. The house looked worse up close. Boarded windows, caved-in gutters, vines choking the porch. Jordan's face fell. "We're gonna live here." Angela nodded. We'll make it work. Inside was worse. Moldy walls, the smell of mice and mildew, dust coating every surface. But it was theirs. Then Jordan started coughing. Angela's instincts kicked in. She ran to the car, grabbed his inhaler. After several puffs, he calmed. They couldn't sleep inside. Not yet. That night, they huddled in the car. Angela stared at the silhouette of the house and whispered, "What have I done?" At sunrise, a beat-up pickup pulled into the drive. A silver-haired woman stepped out, holding a basket. "Morning," she called. "I'm Iris. Live down the road. Brought muffins." Angela introduced herself. "You bought the Winters place, didn't you?" Iris asked. Angela nodded. "Well," Iris said, "you're braver than most. No one's lived here since Josephine vanished." "Vanished?" Angela asked. Iris explained. Josephine Winters had moved there in 1982. An herbalist, healer, scientist. One day in 1989, she disappeared. Left behind her car, her clothes, her garden. No trace. Some say she ran. Others say someone wanted her gone. That same day, a man named Dean, contractor, neighbor, and the man Angela had bid against, showed up with his daughter, Maddie. "I figured you needed it more than I did," Dean said. "Brought some tools. Let's see what you're up against." Angela almost cried. Dean inspected the place. Foundation solid. But the roof? Gone. Wiring? Ancient. Mold? Bad. How much? Minimum $30,000. And that's with me doing the work. Angela felt sick. "I've got an old trailer you can live in while we fix it up," Dean said. "No charge." As Angela fought her pride and accepted, Jordan and Maddie explored the land. "Mom," he shouted, "there's a garden. And apple trees." Maddie chimed in. "Some of those plants are herbs. Mint, thyme, lavender." Angela remembered Iris's words. Josephine had been an herbalist, a healer, a woman of science. One evening, cleaning an upstairs bedroom, Angela stepped on a loose floorboard. Underneath was a tin box. Inside, a journal, some photographs, and a brass key. The journal's owner, Josephine Winters. The entries began with excitement about her gardens, her research, her community. She had a PhD in biochemistry, left the corporate world to pursue independent research into natural cures. But the tone changed. A man, RP, had come offering money for her research into a treatment for Carter's syndrome, a rare autoimmune disease. She refused. That he threatened her. The final entry read, "If anything happens to me, I've hidden the truth where only the right person can find it. RP will never have my work." Angela showed Dean. He paled. "I did repairs here years ago. Josephine helped my wife when she was sick. Her remedies eased the pain when nothing else did." That night, they searched the property. Behind thick brush, they found a concrete lab with a rusted door. The brass key fit. Inside, untouched science equipment, notebooks, a microscope far too advanced for the 1980s, and formulas documenting a treatment for Carter's syndrome. Then came the letter. "If you find this, I am likely gone. Richard Patton of Radcliffe Pharmaceuticals has threatened me. I will not sell. My research must belong to the people." Angela contacted Dr. Evelyn Zhang, a respected medical researcher she once worked with. Dr. Zhang was stunned. "If this research is valid, Angela, it's a billion-dollar discovery." Angela swore to honor Josephine's wish, to make the cure accessible. But they weren't alone. An SUV showed up at the property. A man claiming to be from the county assessor's office said her purchase was under review. Dean wasn't fooled. "He's not with the county. My cousin is married to the real assessor." The next day, a woman from Radcliffe showed up. "Victoria Patton. $250,000 for the house and everything in it," she said. Angela refused. They weren't offering for land. They were offering for the cure. Then came sabotage. Contaminated water, tampered inhalers, cut brake lines. The IT was no longer subtle. Angela turned over everything to the FBI. With Dean's help, they found another hidden box beneath an old oak tree. Inside, more documents, photographs, and a tape recording. On it, Richard Patton's voice, threatening Josephine. The FBI opened a formal investigation. Dr. Zhang connected Angela with a pharmaceutical ethics lawyer. A journalist got wind of the story and went national. Then the breakthrough. Following GPS coordinates Josephine had left behind, the FBI found human remains buried in a state forest. Dental records confirmed. Josephine Winters, blunt force trauma to the skull. Richard Patton, now in his 80s, was arrested for murder. The world took notice. Headlines exploded. Stock in Radcliffe Pharmaceuticals plummeted. More executives were implicated in cover-ups. The truth was out. Angela and Dr. Zhang filed for patents in Josephine's name. The treatment would be made available affordably. With grant funding, Angela launched the Winters Foundation, dedicated to natural medicine and access to care. The house, once feared, abandoned, was transformed into Winters Gardens, a community center and research hub. On the one-year anniversary, Angela stood on the rebuilt porch with Dean at her side. "I just wanted shelter," she said, overwhelmed. "But you found a legacy," he replied. From dust and desperation, Angela had unearthed a story of hope, healing, and justice. Josephine Winters was gone, but her voice, her work, her spirit lived on. And Angela? She didn't just buy a house for $900, but she changed the world.